Okay, so episode 9 opens with the Greyhounds having the time of their lives during training. Everything is coming together for these guys finally, and they are laughing and playing like children in the schoolyard. I mean, these guys are all smiles. Even Coach Kent is smiling.
It's f***ing great.
And for those of you who don't watch this show, that's as rare as two lesbians not falling in love after the first date. Anyway, the team is popping.
They're having fun. We're having fun. These folks are having fun. It's a whole bunch of fun.
And a sick run for the goal brings Isaac in for the score, prompting all kinds of love from the team. But when Colin offers his congratulations, it gets completely ignored by Isaac. My heart broke here. I still had hope in my heart that Isaac would finally come around and remember that Colin is his best mate. But for a lot of straight people, it's hard for them to not think about themselves in these scenarios. They tend to misinterpret us hiding our true selves out of survival as a personal insult, or that we're intentionally trying to deceive them. But in most cases, it's absolutely essential for our survival. Isaac's attitude towards Colin starts to become a bit more obvious as the scene progresses. We get a lot more of these negative reactions from Isaac when Colin is just being Colin.
You bundle your dirty socks.
Just because they are dirty doesn't mean they don't deserve to have a friend.
He's right. After all, we're all mates with Rashad.
It's obvious to Colin that Isaac will never be the one to clear the air, so Colin attempts to meet Isaac for a beer to have a chat.
Boyo, do you want to get a beer or something later? Have a chat?
And his reply is just
No.
which makes it pretty obvious that he's not okay with this. I mean, just imagine being Colin over the past 24 hours. Your best friend catches a glimpse of private photos you have on your phone. You don't know where you stand with him, where he stands with your sexuality. You don't know if he's gonna out you or if this is gonna change or ruin your life. One day you're flying high, your life is great, and the next your entire life could come crashing down right in front of you, just for being who you are. We fast forward to the main title sequence because ain't nobody want that song stuck in their head today. And we come to a scene with Keely and Rebecca sharing a meal, and Rebecca asks,
Have you heard from Jack yet?
and we learn that Keely not only sent a text after an unanswered text, but she, well...
Oh, so much blue.
It's like I got diarrhea of the thumbs or something.
Ted pops in for a standard observational humor that we love.
When girl talk turns into girl hug, you know that either means something horrible's happened or absolutely nothing at all.
And describes Jack ghosting Keely as
The old digital Irish goodbye.
and then offers up a consolation prize for Keely losing her millionaire girlfriend.
What? There's like 40 quid in here.
And when Ted describes Keely as
Heartbroken, but still kicking butt.
Keely describes it as,
It's more like heart bent.
which Ted immediately turns into a gross country song.
I'm heart bent in my apartment, 'cause all that you left was your fart scent.
Oh my god, there are so many straight relationships on TV. Okay, so we come to this scene where Roy is in trouble with Rebecca. The reason is irrelevant to my point, and we get this exchange.
Get your hairy ass into my office now!
Every single one of you knows my ass isn't hairy, yet none of you spoke up.
Which prompts a long setup and a minor burn on Richard.
He's right, we're cowards. Now, she was talking about Rashad's butt.
Which I have to guess makes Colin feel even more rejected to see Isaac acting completely normal with the guys, and even going as far as to make jokes about their butt hair. This prompts Colin to seek advice from our boy Trent Krim. Okay, so I briefly mentioned Trent earlier in the video. Trent Krim is a journalist who has attached himself to the team this season to write a book about Ted and his whole impact on not just the team, but the organization as a whole. Back in episode 3, titled 4, 5, and 1, Trent, being the sneaky sneak that he is, clocks Colin and his boyfriend making out after leaving the opening of Sam's restaurant. Actually, he was just walking home like a normal person and just happened to notice them making out. But later on, in episode 6 from this season, titled Sunflowers, where the team is away in Amsterdam for an exhibition match, and Trent follows Colin into a gay bar where he acknowledges that he is aware of Colin's sexuality, and then comes out as a gay man himself.
I've known for months. I haven't said anything to anyone. I must have a good reason for that, mustn't I?
Right.
This episode is really special because Trent becomes somewhat of a mentor for Colin, and for once, Colin doesn't have to feel alone, and now even has a confidant that he can be his authentic self with. So Colin explains to Trent that Isaac knows, and that he won't talk to him. Trent advises Colin,
Give him a minute. You shouldn't have to, but some people need it. Don't forget, you've known you've gay for 20 years.
Much longer than that. Once I was out with my mum, I never looked back.
It's now game day in Richmond, and in the owner's box, Keely finally gets a text reply from Jack, who's in Argentina for the next couple months.
Well, I think our break is actually an up. Now that Jack is officially my ex, please feel free to say Any of the things that you didn't like about her?
Leslie decides to go right for the first butch lesbian stereotype he can think of.
Ooh, her handshake was way too firm.
I, of course, blame the writers for that. We can let them slide for this one time. In the locker room, the tension starts to heat up when right before the match, Colin makes another attempt to share some camaraderie with his captain.
Go get him, Captain.
Which is met with the cold shoulder stink eye from Isaac. Yeah, cold shoulder stink eye, I'm sticking with that one. At this point, in my first watch through, I'm just thinking to myself, how much worse can this get? Coach breaks the tension by assembling the team and cracking a few jokes.
Who we got today?
Brighton and Hove Albion.
Brighton, Hove, and Albion. I know we were playing a law firm.
But when they bring it in for the team cheer, everyone puts their hands in the center, and Colin places his hand on Isaac's. He pulls it out and away to keep it from touching Colin's hand. Now, I know what it feels like for someone to be afraid to touch you. It's happened to me a few times as a trans woman, and never once happened to me when I presented as a straight man. I honestly hope that no one watching this knows what it feels like for someone to be so repulsed by you that they pull away from you in fear. Thankfully, I've never been treated this way by any of my friends or family, but I am definitely able to put myself in Colin's shoes here. I mean, just look at the disappointment in his face and how unenthusiastically he trails everybody out of the locker room. Now, the Hounds are not playing with their same magic that we opened this episode with. The tension between Colin and Isaac has made its way onto the field, and the team really starts to flounder. The fans start getting frustrated that the team isn't quite playing with the same fire, and one fan in particular is not having it. Isaac looks visibly rattled, and it's obvious that his mind is in two completely different places. The rift is equally affecting Colin, who is also playing like shite, but this time Colin's mistake cost the Greyhounds a goal, putting the team behind 1-0. Now, this sets Isaac off. Way out of control type of rage. And at this point, I'm thinking this has gotten so out of hand that we might see Isaac start a fight with Colin here. This is so out of character for him that people are taking notice. The first half ends with Richmond down 1-0, and the fans, our shitbag here especially, are really letting the boys have it. And then as Colin and Isaac come through the tunnel, he says the F word.
No, the other F word.
This sets Isaac off. And it was scary. Scary in the sense that if someone is this homophobic to the point where they are triggered by being called a gay slur, then they are capable of all kinds of nasty violence, which is almost what happens here. Isaac jumps the wall, rushes the guy and takes hold of his collar and just starts screaming in his face. It takes multiple people, security, team staff, and stewards to peel him off the guy. Anyone who uses slurs like that probably deserves it, but this was really out of control for Isaac. I, of course, am kidding. I do not condone violence. Isaac gets a red card, ejecting him from the game, and this of course will put the Greyhounds a man down for the remainder of the match. Roy has the fan removed from the game, and Isaac comes to the locker room on fire. He's shaking and heaving, struggling to catch his breath as he sits down. Clearly confused, Coach Ted tries to figure out what the hell just happened.
I know he's gonna say nothing. Isaac, what the hell happened?
One of our fans said some ignorant shit.
Okay, what'd they say?
Unwilling to repeat it,
I heard it. He said the F word, the other F word.
Coach, of course, agrees that the language was inexcusable, but also points out that it seems like an overreaction, with Sam mentioning that it's not something they haven't heard before and to just ignore it. But Isaac's response is where it all comes together.
Ignore it. I don't want to ignore it. What if one of us is gay? Huh? We shouldn't have to deal with this shit.
I mean, the writers got me good. I was really sold that Isaac was intolerant, that he was unwilling to understand. But here he is, jumping a concrete barrier to defend his best buddy. And I lost it. I lost it. I was so proud of Isaac defending his friend and having the guts to give his justification to the team without hesitation. I am so sorry I doubted you, Isaac. So Trent was right the whole time, that Isaac just needed time to sort it out in his head. Unfortunately, it took an event like this to trigger the correct response out of him, but he got to the place he needed to be. Roy volunteers to speak with Isaac as Coach Ted continues the conversation with the team. Isaac is alone and crying in the supply room, and when Roy comes in, he asks him to leave and says,
Just leave me alone. Just off, yeah? I it up. Just off. Just leave me alone. I don't need to start yelling at me.
Roy says,
I'm not here to yell at you.
and just sits down next to him without any further word. Back in the locker room, everyone was still pretty confused. Sam asks Colin if he knows. Colin shakes his head no and dismisses it without a word, but almost immediately, the team starts making assumptions that it's Isaac that must be gay.
Guys, it's pretty obvious. Isaac's gay, right?
Well, statistically speaking, 10% of the population is homosexual, so it's not that surprising.
So there are probably more people in this room who are gay.
I'm flattered.
I'm sorry, but that was fun. And then Sam brings it home with this.
We don't need to discuss this any further, okay? All Isaac needs now is our support.
Seeing how the team isn't bothered by the idea that Isaac could be gay, also seeing the entire team rallying around a message of support, Colin does something that he's probably been dreaming about for his entire life.
Isaac's gay.
The credits roll and the show's over. I'm sorry. I had to do that. Sorry.
Whoa. Hold on. Isaac's not gay.
It cuts away from the locker room back to the supply room where Kent is trying to comfort Isaac. Roy is keen on the fact that Isaac is upset about something other than the dirtbag bigot fan he scuffled with earlier, and tells him,
I don't know what happened out there, but I do know whatever it was isn't what you're really angry about, is it? So then trust me, you've got to go deal with that, or you're going to f up whatever it is you actually do care about.
which is followed up by some incredible insight by Will.
He's right, you know. The little things we get mad about are like snowflakes on a mountain. And if we wait too long, then we're just one sneeze away from an avalanche that will kill us all.
Back in the locker room, we miss Colin coming out. I assume the writers saw this as beating a dead horse, but I personally would have enjoyed to see him tell his story.
So we cool?
Yeah.
Of course. It's cool.
Yes, amigo.
1000%.
You're gay. Big whoop.
But I digress. Colin is out to the team, and their reaction is everything anyone would hope for.
But we don't care, right, guys?
But Coach reiterates in the way we know and love from Coach.
Colin, we do care, you know? When I was growing up back in Kansas City, I had a buddy named Stevie Jewell. Now, he was a huge Denver Broncos fan. I told him it didn't affect the way I felt about him at all. I told him that I didn't care, and I didn't. But then he had to watch back-to-back Super Bowls all by himself. First one, he ate an entire 7-layer dip all by himself. The next year, he did the exact same thing, all by himself. He must have thought it was good luck or something, I don't know, because I wasn't there, because I didn't care. I should have supported him while his garbage-ass team wins back-to-back Super Bowls.
Thanks, Coach. I could not have said it better myself.
Did you just compare being gay to being a Denver Broncos fan?
Give it one more try, Coach.
We don't not care. We care very much. We care about who you are and what you must have been going through. From now on, you don't have to go through it all by yourself.
Yeah.
All right?
You got us, mate. We got you.
Yeah, I died a few times this episode. That clip of Jamie really gets me. Okay, back to football.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
After we get past all this boring straight people jargon. A man down, but with a newfound energy and an all-new sense of purpose, the Hounds end up pulling out yet another win.
Behind an inspirational turn from Colin Hughes, assisting both goals in a man-of-the-match performance.
Responsible for 2 second-half assists, and now with his team by his side must feel like the weight of the world has been lifted from his shoulders. But it is Roy Kent, played by Brett Goldstein, who puts the icing on the cake. At the post-game press conference, it is Roy who decides to take questions from reporters this time instead of Ted. Of course, the first question right out of the gate is,
do you or the organisation condone what Isaac McAdoo did today?
Which, of course, prompts the stereotypical response from Roy.
What a stupid f***ing question.
Seriously, he does give an amazing answer here.
What Isaac did was awful. He was lucky he only got a red card.
So why did he do it?
When I was first coming up, there was an old-timer on the team. He and his wife were about to have their first kid. I made a joke that statistically, I was probably the real dad, and the boys fell about laughing, but he went f***ing nuts. Had a black eye, chipped tooth, 3 broken ribs. I couldn't play for 6 games. He got booted off the team. After that, no club would go near him. Then in the summer, after I could breathe again, I bumped into him in a pub, and I got the chance to say sorry for my stupid joke. And he got to tell me he and his wife had lost the baby a month before all that went down. He hadn't told anyone. Look, I get that some people think if they buy a ticket, they've got the right to yell whatever abusive shit they want at footballers. But they're not just footballers, they're also people. And none of us know what is going on in each other's lives. So for Isaac to do what he did today, even though it was wrong, I give him love. And as for why he did what he did, that's none of my business.
I give him love. Remember, Roy was not in the locker room when Colin came out. And at this point, I don't even think he knows. What Isaac said before storming off, I don't want to ignore it, what if one of us was gay, was enough of an explanation for Roy to give him love and acceptance. It's also true what he says about the fact that we don't know what people might be dealing with in their personal lives. It's easy to make assumptions or judgments based on what we see from people at face value, but we never know what kind of things could be boiling under the surface. And then the press conference ends with this little exchange, which is like a bit of dessert after that giant meal we just ate.
Let's talk about Colin Hughes. Yeah, he's a hell of a player, a great man. I think we've underused him.
I think you're right.
Glad we agree.
So here we are at the conclusion of the episode. The past couple episodes have been building up to this moment right here. The knock on the door. The knock on the door that leads to why. Why did the reveal of Colin's sexuality culminate into these events?
You lied to me.
The lie. One of the main reasons people choose not to come out is for the fear that the people closest to us will think we lied to them. And then the people on the other side of that usually feel like Isaac, confused as to why they couldn't be trusted. Most of us who are hesitant to reveal our truth do so because we have had or have seen negative reactions to coming out before, and we never want to relive being rejected like that ever again. So out of self-preservation, we hide. Isaac can't understand what it was about him that made Colin think he couldn't tell him.
What is it about me that made you think you couldn't tell me?
No, it was nothing to do with you. It was about me. I was 99% sure that you'd support me. The 1% chance that you wouldn't, it scared the shit out of me.
Colin was just scared he was going to lose his best friend. I said before that one of the main reasons people choose not to come out is because of fear that our loved ones will think we lied to them. But the main reason is out of fear of losing the ones that we love. After a few minutes, the ice is broken, and Isaac apologizes and asks,
You're gonna tell everyone now?
No, the team knows.
Colin asks him in, and we get this great shot of relief from Colin, which is a huge payoff after that emotional roller coaster these f***ers took me on. The scene ends perfectly with this shot of the boys playing FIFA, and Isaac asks all those silly questions straight people love to ask their gay friends.
Top or bottom, sex positions or sleep arrangements?
Sexual positions.
Would you ever shag a woman?
No, I'm gay.
What have you had to?
1967, Raquel Welch.
My man. Who's the fittest guy on the team?
I won't tell you, and you'd never guess.
Bumbercatch.
Yes.
What about team showers?
I keep my head down and I think of global warming.
Yeah, but if I had to shower with a bunch of girls all the time, I'd defo get bonus.
And concludes with the best ending yet.
I love you, boyo. You can't say it, can you?
No, but you know I do, yeah?
Just fantastic. Oh, I love this show. And I really love the additional storylines we were privileged to have fleshed out this season. I am just so sad this show is ending. But honestly, I can't wait to go back through and watch all 3 seasons again and look for all the clues leading to these events that we just discussed here today. I think that would be a whole lot of fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And if you like this sort of content, please do me a favor. Smash the like, subscribe, because I'm going to do a whole lot more queer content just like this. You all be safe, be kind, and remember, we need to take care of each other out there. Bye.